Hi there. So I wanted to talk a little bit about week 4. Um, we we are going to be focusing on the NASW Code of Ethics this week, as you will see from the discussion questions. It's important to get a grounding in what ethics are, what values are, what beliefs are, that sort of thing, so that you can really have a good understanding of what they're about, which can also help you understand why people may have thought that it was a good idea to formulate things like a code of ethics. I asked in an earlier week, maybe week 2, if anyone could see reasons why some professionals think that codes of ethics are somewhat unnecessary or maybe even problematic. And there are professionals who believe that. One reason that I can think of and that I sometimes propose is that it seems like ethical behavior is really more about common sense, and that codes of ethics have been formulated and added to more or less as a reaction to something that has happened. But it seems to me that most of the codes of ethics are about common sense. It's not a good idea to practice while you're high or to get involved sexually with a client, to avoid dual roles when possible. And we've been talking about that a little bit too already during the class discussions, that it can be especially difficult to not be involved in dual roles in places that are rural and on islands, such as in Hawaii. So it can definitely add to some challenging situations. But I think, really it's more about having common sense, and that these codes of ethics are somewhat reactionary. And then I think that they're also more often used as punishment. You didn't follow this code of ethics, and therefore you are banned from being practicing in this field, whichever field it happens to be in. So I don't know. It's something to think about. We want to question things, and we want to not just make an assumption that because someone decided a code of ethics was necessary or meaningful, that it necessarily is. So again, it speaks to being critical thinkers, and analyzing and critiquing these things from different points of view. So the Farley chapter wrote a bunch about working with minorities, which, as we know, a lot of people in Hawaii fit that label. And we'll be looking more specifically about multiculturalism in week 6. So we'll be focusing a little bit more on some of the specifics in that chapter. And then the Corey chapter looked a lot at values and ethics and your beliefs. How, when you work with people, might there be people that you really cannot work with? And then the Corey and co-authors discuss some of the problems with referring people because you may have value conflicts. So that is also something to reflect on. So So we'll be looking about a lot about at the codes this week, and then looking more specifically at multiculturalism in week 6. I'm also hoping that we'll have a quote-unquote guest speaker in week 6, although I cannot get a formal decision about us being able to meet through interactive television, and so these guest speakers, quote-unquote, will probably be through chat sessions, which are only text-based, unfortunately, or and perhaps asynchronous through the discussion board. For example, week 8 is about library and research, and Randy Hensley may be posting things there and doing things asynchronously, and he also may be doing chats. So anyway, a little bit about what's coming up. So so reflect on some of these things, and certainly discuss them with each other, and not suggesting there's necessarily a cut and dried answer to a lot of these things, but things that as professionals we can be reflecting upon. So I look forward to your answers this week and your discussions with each other, and seeing how these codes of ethics kind of shake out, so to speak. All right, I'll see you in the cyber world. Aloha.